So hey Lawn Care Nation, in this video, as you can see behind me here, we're going to be taking a look at the Landzie AeroLeveler landscape leveling rake. So let's go take a look at it. So here you go guys, this is the Landzie AeroLeveler. This is the 36-inch model, and this type of tool is really meant for being able to easily level out your material onto your lawn. If you're doing things like sand or top dressing mix and you want to level out the lawn, this is going to really help facilitate that. Now here in my own backyard, you can see I've already prepped for this. I've mowed the lawn as low as I could go. 1 inch was the lowest that my mower would mow. I've also already aerated the lawn, put some seed down. I've fertilized and put some lime down as well. So today we're going to be trying that AeroLeveler out, putting some regular sand here out on my lawn. You can see it right beside it here, this kind of standard metal tined rake that I've got here. This has been my tool of choice for spreading out any sort of piles of material on lawns for the past 20 years or so in my lawn care business. This is what I've used, is just your standard metal tined type rake, and just kind of using the back side of it there that you can see there, kind of using this edge here. So I would put piles down and then I would be dragging those piles and spreading it out using this sort of a motion on this. So we'll see, compared to kind of my old style of what I'm used to when it comes to spreading larger piles of soil, compared to using this new AeroLeveler. In terms of the AeroLeveler itself, it comes in a couple of pieces here. The handle screws together right here at the middle, so that comes in 2 pieces, and it just comes with a couple of bolts, one that you thread through the middle here through this kind of pneumatic piston that's here, and then there's a couple of bolts with lock washers or locking nuts and regular washers on the sides there that you put, and you just want to snug those up just enough so that you can get some free motion through there. And you put the piston through the rod, threaded rod there in the middle. And the point of this piston is, with this type of a leveler, when you are working it back and forth, this back edge, when you're pulling it towards you, can tend to catch and flip the leveler up. So what this pneumatic little ram does is it puts pressure on that front side of that to keep it down flat. So when you're smoothing out those piles, you're not having to deal with it constantly flipping over. It should keep the pressure down. So assembly on this was very easy. It took about 5 minutes to put together. It you see these little notches here in the sides. It also comes with a couple of rubber grommets that fit into these 4 notches here, and that's for storage. So you can always take that, unscrew that handle, and it fits perfectly right in here in those notches. And you could unscrew this lower handle as well and fit it in those bottom notches as well, and just have it as a nice little compact unit there if you wanted to store it that way. Okay, so as you can see here, I'm just using some regular sand here. This has already been screened, so it should be pretty good in terms of not having too many rocks and stuff in it. This is what my landscape supplier uses to mix into their organic soil to make like their standard 50-50 top dressing mix. All right, let's try it out. I'm gonna try on this pile here. I don't know if it needs to be a smaller pile or... You can see it's doing a good job at filling in those low spots. Part of the lawn is completely disappearing through those little low areas. And of course the high spots are popping through. Into all those little divots. It's not bad. Because you can get it to slide back and forth after kind of initially getting the pile going. I might do smaller piles. I wouldn't say that it's necessarily easy. It's still quite a bit of work. But it does what it's supposed to, and that is level it out. Try to move the sand forward. So as I'm working it forward, the soil is kind of, all the excess soil is kind of coming in and filling up these little cavities. And then as you're pulling it and pushing it, then it's moving and falling over. So it does really work for knocking down those high spots and then depositing during those lower areas. All right, so far I got about half the yard done or so, or a third. You can see that it's going on pretty good there. Now, I wouldn't say it's the easiest thing to use. It takes a bit of work pulling and pushing those piles. Once you get it kind of laid out, then it glides pretty easily. But that initial spreading of the pile is what takes a lot of effort. Also, at the end of the unit here, this rubber handle tends to want to pop off as you're pulling the Landzie back, or the AeroLeveler back. So I'm going to try a little bit of a different technique now. I had the idea of using the Landzie compost roller, filling that with the sand, rolling it out, and I did a little test sample there, and then using the AeroLeveler to spread it out more evenly. And that seems to be working much quicker for my needs, again, because I'm not really looking to completely level the lawn. I'm just looking to get material down and smooth it out. So let's try that. So just a little bit of a different technique, depending on what your needs are. So although with the compost roller, the material goes down a lot thinner, it also is much quicker to cover an area. And the nice thing is that you can just keep going over it over and over again to apply more material if you want to get that same type of coverage, but just doing it a lot faster, and then use the AeroLeveler to smooth it all out. So I used the Landzie compost spreader roller there for this middle section, and that worked really quickly in terms of spreading the soil out. It goes on thin, but you could always add more versus trying to push the piles with the AeroLeveler out there. AeroLeveler works fantastic for leveling the soil once it's kind of initially spread, but it's difficult to push piles. So I think I found a completely different technique now, and this one seems to be working the best, and that is just take your wheelbarrow and spread your piles out. Use a combination of both the AeroLeveler and your traditional metal tined rake. This one excels at moving the tops of those piles, but it doesn't do very good at actually leveling and smoothing things out. The AeroLeveler, that's where its strength is leveling it out. So use the metal rake to spread out the pile initially, and then the AeroLeveler to level it all out. So just take the top of your regular rake, and you can see you can just kind of drag those piles really quickly. But it's too small, and it's only the one dimension in terms of just that one little thin area to be able to level out properly. Kind of just work those piles so that they're just initially spread. And then take the AeroLeveler to smooth it out. You can see how much easier that is. As it just floats then on top and spreads out any of that excess soil, rather than trying to fight with it to push the tops of the piles. That kind of gives you the best of both worlds there. So we'll try it in the middle here, where we had a really thin layer from the roller. I'm just putting some more piles down. And if we take our regular rake, we can easily push the tops of those piles, just kind of loosely spread them just to distribute the soil. Not worrying about leveling, just moving the soil. It's a lot easier to push the piles with a smaller rake because you're only fighting a smaller section of that pile. And then go over it with AeroLeveler to actually smooth it all out. You see how much easier that is in my effort. It's kind of letting each of the tools excel at the one kind of their best job. So finally got it all done. And you can see it's nice and smooth. By far, the best technique I found was to just spread out your piles with the wheelbarrow. Use the old traditional tined rake to be able to just quickly disperse the tops of those piles. It's a lot easier with it being so narrow to move those piles around. And then let the AeroLeveler do what it does best, and that's smooth it out. And once you've got your piles all kind of spread out there, then it becomes very easy to maneuver the unit. You can see you're just doing it with one hand here. It's very easy to pull it back and forth and get everything all leveled up. So instead of using like the large width there to fight and trying to use it to disperse your initial piles, I would use a smaller rake, the back of a smaller rake, to just kind of start out those piles, move them around, and then use the leveler to essentially just float on top and knock down all those high and low spots. For that purpose, it works fantastic. You can see here, even one-handed. So there you have it, Lawn Care Nation. That is the Landzie 36-inch AeroLeveler. Like I said, I tried a couple of different techniques here with using the leveler itself to push those piles, with using Landie's compost spreader roller to disperse it, and then using the AeroLeveler to smooth it out, and then using a traditional rake to rake out those piles, and then use the AeroLeveler to smooth it out. And I think that is the winning combination. It's fast to do, and by far the easiest to be able to spread those piles with a smaller rake, and then let the Landzie do what it does best, and that is just level everything nice and smooth. So that's it for this one, guys. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the Landzie 36-inch AeroLeveler. We'll catch you guys in the next one.